Hello everyone. Hope all of you are doing fine with respect to mains examination preparation. As part of this program, that is mains enrichment program, we had scheduled quality improvement classes for you, and among them 7 classes have been over. So this is the 8th class that we are giving to you, and this particular session will deal with the quality improvement in the subjects of science, technology and environment. So in this session, I'll be telling you the trend of the last 7 years, how the questions are appearing from these particular areas, that is science, technology and environment. And we'll be looking into the weightage that has been given to this particular section, and we'll be dealing with the pattern of the questions, like how the questions are appearing, like from which area they're asking. And under those areas, you'll be looking into type of questions. Under them, generalized questions and the specific questions, and how we need to tackle them, especially the generalized questions and the specific questions under different subtopics, how we need to deal, that we'll look into. Later on, we'll discuss the nuances of answer writing for these particular areas, science, technology and environment. And after that, we'll be looking into the probable topics for civil service examination or mains examination 2020. So let us begin this session with the overall analysis of science and technology and environment. If you look at General Studies Paper 3, the weightage that has been given to this particular section is around 1/3. 1/3 of GS Mains Paper 3 is covered with science, technology and environment. And our approach for this particular section or these questions has to be like a high school mindset. High school mindset in the sense, you need to provide with the theoretical aspects of that question and the general understanding of that particular topic, and you need to define few things, and probably you need to draw some of the illustrations that are required in those questions. And along with that, as we come to the competitive examination, yes, the updation of the current affairs or their upgradation, that is very much important, and that has to reflect in the answer paper. So this is how we approach the paper. And as far as the sources are concerned, whatever that you have referred for preliminary examination, maybe for science, technology and environment, so that will hold good. But the thing is, whatever that you have studied for prelims, so that is a different ball game, because you have covered so many advanced technologies, you have covered so many phenomena, you have covered so many events that have occurred in the current affairs. But when it comes to the mains examination, we will look into the type of question later. But here we need to spend minimum time to maximize our scores. Generally around 80 marks, that is 1/3 of the GS Mains Paper 3. Here we can actually accelerate our score. Like out of 80, we can easily get around 60% of the marks, that is around 48 marks or 48 to 50 marks we can get easily in this section. And the other section, like another 170 marks. Yeah, if you manage to score around 60 plus or 70 plus there, so that's a very good score. So let us move on to the agenda for the day, like what all we need to discuss. First of all, we would discuss the year-wise weightage for science. So when I say science here, it is for both science and technology. So in the year 2019, we have seen 50 marks allotted to science and tech. So if you look at the general trend, so around 50 marks, except the years 2016 and 2014, like all other years, they are giving around 45 to 50 marks. 45 to 50 marks, if you want to divide them in questions, around 3 to 5 questions. 3 to 5 questions are coming from this area. So here we need to, give due importance for this particular subject. Few people are there, irrespective of their disciplines, like from which background they come, they tend to either give overemphasis to this particular section and their approach will be like prelims, but that will not help here. And another set of people, like they will try to ignore or give less importance to this particular section. So both the approaches are dangerous, they are risky. It is better to go with minimum preparation to maximize our score in this particular section. So here the general understanding is like we are getting around 45 to 50 marks dedicated for science and technology, and 3 to 5 questions are coming under this particular chunk. Next thing is like what kind of questions that we are getting. So overall, when we look into the questions, either they will be general questions or there will be specific questions. Specific questions that we will be looking into later. Here, when it comes to the general questions, the trend has been like this: space technology applications, nanotechnology applications, biotechnology, nuclear power program, scientific research, and the traditional knowledge. So if you prepare on these aspects, like space technology applications, maybe it is with respect to telecommunication, or it is with respect to remote sensing. Under remote sensing, we get a lot of applications like astronomy, then many applications with respect to disaster management. So there are many applications here. When it comes to telecommunication, so it is with all kind of telecommunication purposes. Maybe it is right from television, radio, mobile network. So all these things will be covered under telecommunications. So you need to have a proper list of the applications, and the best source for these space technology applications will be ISRO website. So don't miss this particular website. Whatever the recent things that are happening in ISRO, and what all are the missions that have been accomplished, and which all are the satellites that we have launched, and what are their applications, and how they are being implemented into governance. So especially the connectivity of this to governance, or linking this space to governance, this is very important. So one should not miss these aspects. So this is how your approach has to be. And when it comes to nanotechnology, right now, we, like in India or across globe, we are mainly at the first generation of nanotechnology, or the devices or the equipments that we use under nanotechnology. So they are of first generation. We are putting baby steps into second stage of nanotechnology or second generation materials. So third and fourth, they are of distant dream. So another 10-15 years are required to go to this stage. So you should be looking at the first generation and second generation nanomaterials and their applications. And when it comes to applications, definitely, like the applications are mainly into the fundamental research, then agriculture, then medicine, etc. So when they ask you for nanotechnology applications, so you should be writing minimum 8 to 10 applications there, depending upon the marks for which they asked. 10 marker, like around 6 applications in detail, or if you have 8 to 12 applications, yes, enumeration of them with little explanation, that is enough. But when you write 4 to 6 points for 10 marker, you need to elaborate. My advice would be, like, you have to increase the number of points that you are writing. Rather than the explanation of those applications, you need to write more points, because over the years what we have seen is the number of points that you are writing in your answer is directly proportional to your marks. So hardly people will go to the long sentences that you have written in the answer paper. So quickly they will look into the applications, they will look for those keywords and they will mark and they will proceed to the next question. So it is better to enumerate more number of applications rather than explaining a few. Then coming to biotechnology applications, yes, biotechnology also have vast applications right from agri, medicine, food processing, then other applications which are of use or which are of utility to humankind. So again, biotechnology applications, you need to be writing more in number rather than explaining a few. Then coming to nuclear power program, this is the classical question that we are seeing since 2013. So it is for the peaceful power generation program. So we are right now into the second stage, that too in the nascent level of second stage. So 3 stages of nuclear power production in India. So first stage that has been accomplished, second stage with respect to fast breeder reactors, we are putting baby steps. And when it comes to the third generation, we have only like conceptual building so far. So far only the research is going on, but as far as the commissioning of any reactor in the third stage, so that has not been accomplished. So you should be knowing all those 3 stages of nuclear power program in India, and first 2 in elaboration you should be knowing. So that is the classical question that we are seeing in the examination. Then fundamental research or the scientific research. So what all things that are going on in India across globe where India's participation is there. So especially in the mega science projects that are there across the world, maybe it is thermonuclear experiment, or maybe it is with respect to neutrinos, or maybe it is with respect to the other research like gravitational waves. So here India is contributing significantly either through its facilities in India or its participation across the global facilities. So you have to have a brief note about the scientific research in India and across globe where India is participating. And the third thing is, it is with respect to the policy. The policy which has come in 2013, especially with respect to science, technology and innovation, and its upgradation recently in 2019-20. So you should be covering that thing because you will understand the policy matters there, and if you include such policy plans and all in your answers, so that will give more weightage to your answer and you will get more marks. Then coming to traditional knowledge, yes, very often we are seeing the questions with respect to traditional knowledge. So traditional knowledge, especially in the field of biotechnology, like this traditional knowledge is very important, and the capitalization of this traditional knowledge and the issues such as IPR, intellectual property rights, and especially biopiracy and henceforth. So those issues have to be covered in detail. So they all come under a bigger chunk, that is traditional knowledge. Please have a research about traditional knowledge also, because very often we are finding the questions in exam. Then other questions like specific questions. Specific questions, when it comes to specific questions, so here these questions, they want your specific knowledge or specificity in your approach. You cannot write a generalized answer for these questions. And most of these questions are kind of bouncer for everyone. At least for 80 to 90% of the people, it will be like a bouncer. So these are the questions usually people leave. But you will have to manage these questions. If this question is asked for 10 marker, at least you should be getting 2. If this question is asked for 15 marker, at least you will be getting 3 marks out of this. So the whole struggle is to get those 2 or 3 marks. But if that particular topic is completely unknown and if they are like, I mean, you cannot do any kind of justice with respect to that particular topic, it is better to leave that question and put your energy in the questions which you know better. So it is always better to manage these questions honestly. Your honesty has to be exhibited in the examination. Even the evaluator should not feel like you are bluffing or you are beating around the bush. So basically, you should show your honesty, whatever that you know about that topic. If you write, even if you get 2 or 3 marks, that is fair enough for that particular question. So here, the space missions, yes, when it comes to ISRO, NASA, and ESA. So these are the space research organizations that we'll be looking into, and their recent missions. Their recent missions in year 2019 and 20. So if you cover those things, so that will be of great help. And most of the future missions of these particular agencies have been asked. Future missions. So I'll give you the examples on which the questions have come. So even for that matter, if you look into the websites of ISRO, NASA, and ESA, you should be covering up to 2025. Like until 2025, what all are the plans of these research organizations that you need to like have a brief idea, and you should try to revise them. Then the Bose-Einstein statistics was a question. So it is very difficult to answer by a generalist approach. If somebody has studied Bose-Einstein statistics, especially in the material physics, and if that person, only that person can answer these questions. So these are the questions in which like we have to show our honesty, whatever you know about Bose-Einstein research or their collaboration in fundamental research, and whatever you know about that, maybe half a page or 3/4 page if you write. So that shows your honesty. Otherwise, it is better to leave such questions. Then biopharma. This biopharma, especially in biotechnology, after the significant achievement of India in the field of pharmaceuticals, now the whole eyes are on the biopharmaceuticals. So India has capacity, India has knowledge, India has skills as far as the biopharma is concerned. So biopharma mission, so that we have come up with. So one has to study that, and the questions are coming regularly on these biopharma. Then stem cell therapy. Yeah, it is a specific thing, but as far as our coverage for the preliminary examination is concerned since many years, stem cells questions are coming in prelims also. So we have to have a fair idea about stem cells. Then cloud hosting. So these are like very specific questions, like you cannot answer from a layman's approach. So it is better to show honesty or leave such questions. Drug resistant diseases, yes, they are in news, especially with respect to antimicrobial resistance. We need to enumerate the diseases like which have been spread by these superbugs. Then 3D printing, it is also very specific in nature. And digital signature, yes, especially in the year 2013, it had become a significant or a specific question. But when it comes to 2020, yes, digital signature is part of governance, and especially in the public administration or in e-governance, we come across this digital signature. So one has to know about this. And Cyber Dome, this was like out of nowhere, this question had come. This was a small initiative that has been adopted in the state of Kerala, that too in a particular district. So it is very difficult to, go and dig for those particular topics. So here, my advice would be, as far as possible, try to cover very important topics from the prelims angles. Prelims angle? No. A few lines, or at least the fundamental aspect of this, like how does it work, or what is the construction of it. Try to understand those things. But here, the return ratio, like return to your investment, it will be very less in these things. So it is better to study minimum for these kind of questions, and if it clicks in the examination, so that will come in your favor. Otherwise, you will have to think that that question is not yours. Otherwise, simply will waste time even during your preparation. But it is better to have prelims approach for these questions, and if that clicks, that is good for you. So I don't, like specifically impose a particular kind of preparation for these questions. These are like luck oriented. Yeah, we should not say luck or something, but the time that it takes to cover all the topics in the world and like to get those 10 marks, it is very difficult and it is a very cumbersome process. So my advice is to show your honesty here. Whatever that you know about this particular thing, try to accommodate that, or simply skip this question. So such one question will be there every year. Every year, this has been the trend, like I am saying since 2013. At least one 10 marker or one 15 marker will be like that. So you have to go with the mindset that that question, if you know, that is a bonus for you. Okay. Then coming to other aspects of this session, like subject wise, I have tried to get the topic list. So here, when you look into the space technology, it is a very important as far as the satellites are concerned, or as far as the missions are concerned, or as far as the launch vehicles are concerned. The space technology has become very important thing in our science and technology part. So here, first of all, we have to look into the older questions that have come. If you look into these two questions, these are the future missions of ISRO. Future missions. India Space Station, right now, it is in a concept stage. And when it comes to manned mission, yes, it is in the trial stage. It is in the trial stage. Actually, by this year end, if everything was normal, like human space flight program had to take off. First one uncrewed, next one crewed. So this was the scheduled thing. But due to the pandemic, all these things got delayed. But these questions have come in the previous year. So definitely we have to look into the future missions. So whatever that is India is trying to do until 2025, you must be knowing, or at least you should know about those missions superficially so that you can answer those 10 marker questions in the examination. And when it comes to these questions, if you look into GPS, yes, this is there in the discussion since a decade. IRNSS, at least since last 7 years, it is there in the discussion since its inception in the year 2013. Then mission on Mars, again it is in 2013. Then Chandrayana, Chandrayana 1 in 2009. Then Chandrayana 2 recently in 2019, like we have like conceptualized, and ultimately like the lander could not have a soft landing on Mars. And these things have already come in the examination, but these are the things which have to be pondered upon again and again, because there are chances that these will get repeated in the examination, or like these are like very important missions. As far as prowess is concerned, these are the milestones in the space research of India. So you have to know about these things. And as I told, especially the application of satellites, or like what these missions are intended to do, especially in the field of socio-economic development, or if you take generally in governance, yeah, this will cover everything. So how like the applications of space or space applications are defining or very crucial or significant in governance. That is what we have to look into. So as far as the space technology is concerned, it is very easy to answer those questions. If you know about missions, if you know about applications, satellites, then there ends the matter, but also look into the future missions too. Next area, it is with respect to nuclear technology. Nuclear technology. So here, look at this. So nuclear technology. So as I told earlier, the questions are appearing and reappearing on the nuclear power program of India. 3 stages, and the first 2 stages are very important. Then the fear that is associated with the nuclear power program. Because of the incidents like Fukushima, they have necessitated us to look into the threats that are posed by the nuclear power generation. So one has to understand the threat that has been pursued, or how like people are against the nuclear power program, especially the Kudankulam issue. Kudankulam issue, like that was escalated too much. And again, there were many malified intentions or bona fide intentions, but definitely from the aspirant's point of view, we should know the negatives and positives and how our society pursues such a program or such an advancement in the technology, or the fears associated with that. So that also has to be covered. But again, you should not make this paper as the governance or society or polity paper. So as far as possible, you should talk only the technical points, not the generic ones. Then coming to the growth of nuclear science and technology in India. So again, we have to talk of two things. One is the peaceful purpose, and another for the military purpose. For the military purpose. So these two things we should know. As far as peace is concerned, nuclear power program, and when it comes to military, so especially the missiles that we have in our arsenal, and different types of missile. So maybe it is short range, long range, medium range, and their nuclear capabilities, submarine capabilities, all that thing we should write. So when it comes generalized nuclear science and technology, so our approach has to be towards both peaceful and military purpose. Next area is biotechnology. So biotechnology, if I try to enumerate, yes, with respect to traditional knowledge, then the IPR associated with that, and also the biopiracy that we encounter. And this topic is there since decades, and we should know thoroughly about this. That is traditional knowledge, IPR associated with that, and also the biopiracy. Then other important things are stem cell. Yes, they are coming in the examination, so they can be repeated also. Then biopharmacy, as I told earlier, yes, we have to know about the India's capacity, India's knowledge and the skill as far as the biopharma is concerned. Then applications in farming, yeah, these have come. Biotechnology as far as the input in the agriculture is concerned, in terms of seeds, in terms of fertilizers, in terms of herbicides, pesticides, or other biological resources that we use as the inputs in agriculture. So that become very important. And along with that, you also enumerate the application in the field of medicine, in the field of food security or food processing, then other general applications that you have to know. Then along with that, if you want to prepare, yeah, gene editing, this is there in the news, yeah, or genome sequencing, many programs are going on in India, across the world, with respect to gene editing and genome sequencing. So you have to know about these phenomena and the application in general, not too much into its depth. Next is about ICT. This is information, communication and technology, and the issues that we are seeing since last decade, because we are living in a technological era. Living in 21st century is different as far as the societal transformation that we are seeing. Along with that, the technology. Technology is the main enabler of this transformation. Maybe it is in the field of governance, or maybe it is in the field of telecommunication. Maybe it is in the field of like lifestyle. Maybe it is in the field of the gadgets that are coming up. So we should know the recent developments that are coming up. But as far as the questions in the previous year are concerned, so if you look into the general aspect, data security, these are the areas where like even the internal security will overlap. So data security is one. So for that, cyber security. And we have a National Coordination Center for cyber security. So we should know about that, and along with that, the functions of NTRO or how it advises PMO. So all that thing you should know. Then as far as Digital India is concerned, it is a very long-term program, and as far as this program is concerned, you have to look into the recent policy of National Digital Communication Policy 2018, and under that so many submissions are there. Submission, especially the Fiber First initiative or the Wi-Fi initiatives or GramNet, NagarNet, Jan Wi-Fi. So many components are as far as the NDCP is concerned. So this is one, like one-stop coverage for all the things that are coming up in Digital India. So especially the National Digital Communication Policy. Please go through it and go through all the missions and submissions, and also the targets that we have under this communication policy. Digital signature, cyber dome, cloud hosting, as I told earlier, these are the specific questions that we need to deal with. If you are from technical background, yes, with a minimum preparation, you can cover such things. But again, the return to your investment will be very less on such specific questions. I have already taken my stand as far as those questions are concerned. If you are getting like very good hold of them, or if you are able to produce like full in those questions, that is like a bonus. Next field is medicine. In medicine, the recent developments that are taking place that are also important, and especially the COVID-19. COVID-19, like the genesis of this, then the diagnosis, how do you diagnose, and the treatment, especially in terms of some therapies, and in terms of vaccines. So you should study in a nutshell. And again, all these things or all these questions are asked either for 150 marks, 150 words or 250 words. So whatever that you prepare in COVID-19, or for that matter any topic, you should have the presentable material. That is, within 150 words, how I can cover all the nuances of this topic. So that has to be the target. It is not about like how well research you have done in this and what kind of knowledge you possess in this particular field, or like how well versed you are in this particular topic. It is not about that. It is about like how much you produce and how many marks you get. So it is better to take all these things into the word limit. So either for 150 words or 250 words, you'll be writing these things. And the similar questions had come in the previous examination. Fixed dose drug combinations. Yeah, this was there in the year 2013. And after that, drug resistant diseases or the antimicrobial resistance and the superbugs. So these are the important things one has to know. And these are like classical topics. Even for next 10 years, these topics will hold good. Then pharmaceuticals, as I told earlier, yes, India is excelling in the field of pharmaceuticals. India is called as pharmacy of the world. So that is the recognition that we have got for like our pharmaceutical sector. And similarly, biopharma is also a sector where we have to look into. And as far as the issues associated with the pharmaceuticals, maybe it is with respect to APIs, or maybe it is with respect to IPR, or maybe it is with respect to the issues which are there in WTO, so, or the issues associated with WHO. So all these things have to be brought into your answer. So this is as far as the medicine is concerned. And this year, though we are giving importance to COVID-19, it has been the general practice of UPSC, like the hot topic of that year will never come as a question in the examination. So that is how UPSC, like shows its command over this exam. And you must have seen in the preliminary paper that not even a single question associated to COVID-19 had come in the examination, but it becomes our priority, it becomes our duty to prepare for such hot topics. Then the next one is next one is miscellaneous topics. So I take nanotechnology and robotics under miscellaneous topics. So here, what best we can expect from nanotechnology is like the generation of materials, and especially first and second generation materials, and their explanations, and also with respect to their applications. So this is what we can expect from the nanotechnology. And when it comes to robotics, yeah, though on robotics we have not seen like many direct questions, but how they are going to play a difficult role as far as the industry, agriculture is concerned, and their conflict with the human workforce, all those things can come or which have come in the examination, but it is better to prepare from the angles of the construction of robotics, like how they are made and their applications and their working. How do they work? So what are the important components of a robot? So that we need to look into. So especially with respect to sensors, with respect to manipulators, with respect to other actuators, like there are so many components. So it is better to have a traditional or like very the static knowledge as far as the robots are concerned, and the recent robots which are come in India. So Indian robots may be made by public sector companies or the private sector companies. It is better to know about Indian robots which are in the field right now. Then advanced technologies. How we have seen the questions on 3D printing. So similarly, we can expect questions on advanced technologies. So advanced technologies, if you go on enumerating them, there will be 100 in number. But it is better to know the technologies which have come in the recent news, especially this 3D printing, 4D printing, or with respect to other things like virtual reality, augmented reality, or artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, IoT, that is Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, then 5G. So if you look into them and if you prepare material for 10 marks, I think that would be enough, or that will consolidate your preparation as far as the advanced technologies are concerned. So in the next few days, next 10-15 days, if you spend half a day for science and technology for enumerating these things and writing few things down, I think that much preparation would suffice for science and technology. Then other topics, as I told earlier, cyber security, interdisciplinary questions are coming, especially as far as the our government digital infrastructure is concerned, and the digital interference into the society as far as the identification of the beneficiaries are concerned, or the deliverables, the delivery that we are giving to the beneficiaries, the service delivery. So all these things will need a lot of technology, and we are implementing too, especially the deliverables like PDS. So there we are trying to accommodate this digitization. And as far as our JAM, that is Jandan Aadhaar mobile linkage, or as far as our Aadhaar card is concerned, so many things are associated with the society, or with respect to their security, especially the security of the data that we collect from the beneficiaries or our citizens. So how secured they are, and what all are the infrastructure that we have for its security, and what all are the breaches that have happened, and what all are the covers, or how we are going to address these issues. So that may come as the cyber security questions. In those questions, like you have to be mindful of the paper in which they are asked. So if they are asked in first paper, definitely that is associated with society. When it asked in the second paper, definitely it is associated with the governance or the polity behind it. Then other things, like when it comes into the third paper, so that can be associated with economy or the science and technology. So basically, as per the demand of that particular paper, you should be addressing the issues in a different manner. But the interdisciplinary approach is very much required in such questions. And the defense. When it comes to defense, there are many things as far as the defense is concerned. The question can come in internal security, but there are some technological aspects which we need to bring in into the internal security. And when it comes to the other aspects, like the defense technologies that we have, and their procurement, and like the policy that we have for procurement or for their production. So these are the interdisciplinary areas which we have to study. So especially the economy and defense, defense and technology. So these are the overlapping areas. So one has to have a thorough knowledge, but depending upon the paper, you should be answering them well. Then the energy security. So energy security, as far as our physical infrastructure is concerned for power production, so that come under economy. Then the technological part of these infrastructure or the energy generation. So that becomes part of science and technology. So again, your answer should have the equal weightage for both economy and science there. But like what exactly is the direction in which the question is asked, that defines your answer, and you have to be careful while you are answering whether the weightage has to be given more to the science sector or to the economy sector. So that is up to your discretion. Next thing is the environment. So far we have dealt with the science and technology part. We have looked into the weightage that science and technology gets, and we have looked into the subtopics, and under that what exactly has to be our approach and how the questions are coming, so that we have discussed. And coming to the environment. So in mains examination, environment is not as significant as it is asked in the preliminary examination, because since year 2011, like we have seen around 20 questions from environment, thanks to the clubbing of IFOS exam along with civil service exam. So we have seen 20 questions from environment. Or if you take agriculture, science and technology, geography and environment together, we are seeing 45 questions from these areas. So if you consider the environment part, the strict environment part in mains examination, so these are the weightage that has been given to the environment part. At the max, you are getting around 35 marks. So around 2 to 3 questions that you are getting in the examination, 2 to 3 questions. So here again, we have to give prior significance to the amount of energy that we are putting into environment section and how many questions that we are getting. Again here, the return on investment, that will be very less, but as far as the coverage is concerned, so whatever that you have covered for the preliminary examination, barring the species, endangered species and the protected areas, barring these things, as far as the governance, environmental governance is concerned, you have to look into these areas. So especially environmental science, you can keep it aside because no such questions have come in the examination. Then environmental geography. So as far as the protected areas such as national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and also the endangered species, maybe IUCN Red List species. So that you can easily ignore when you are preparing for mains examination. Only you have to give care to the environmental governance and the nuances or the subtopics under environmental governance, especially with respect to pollution, with respect to the forest, with respect to biodiversity, with respect to climate change. So these are the main areas, that is biodiversity, climate change, then pollution, then along with that the forests. So if you look into these 4 areas, most of the questions are covered here only. So these are the marks distribution that we have seen since last 6-7 years, And when it comes to the questions, as I have specified here, these are mainly the generalized questions. These are kind of generic questions. So if you look into these questions, carrying capacity of the earth or a particular ecosystem or a particular terrain. So carrying capacity, like how much stress it can take. Then coastal sand mining. Again, this is a general topic. Solid waste management. Yes. Then wetland, wise use of wetland. This is the key phrase that we have to use in the answer of wetland. Then Biodiversity Act, climate change, and one particular question had come with respect to the Framework Convention on Climate Change, and also EIA. This is coming on a regular basis. And again, one more question on environmental impact with respect to these particular activities. So as far as the preparation of environment is concerned for this examination, it becomes very simple. So you have to look into these 4 areas which I have mentioned, and also look into the old question papers and look into the current affairs, and you wind up your preparation. And finally, like in this gap for environment, you should not be spending more than half a day, because you cannot afford that much time in the forthcoming days. So when it comes to the nuances of answer writing, as I told earlier, you have to go with the high school mindset as far as the science and environment questions are concerned, because here they will ask a technical thing. The first thing is like they will ask what is so and so. When they say what is so and so, at least 2 to 3 marks are assigned for their definitions. Either you write the definition first, or in the second paragraph, it doesn't matter, but there has to be a proper definition. And when I say the high school mindset, your definition has to be very precise and comprehensive. You should not be writing half a page definition, or you should not be winding that definition within 2 lines. So at least these definitions have to go for 3 to 4 lines, and they have to cover that topic significantly and comprehensively at precisely. So it has to cover the whole topic. So please be mindful, because you will get straight away 1.5 or 2 marks directly here. So even if you write that much, and next few things, if you write very generic answers also, so out of 10 you will get 3, and out of 15 you will get 4. So that is fair enough when you don't know that topic in depth. So when you write the definition, that is the first part that the examiner will be seeing, and after seeing that definition, so that evaluator will understand that you know the topic. And even if you write a few generic things in the forthcoming paragraphs, that is manageable, and you will not get below average marks there. Then the context of the question. As I keep on telling about the context, and I keep on stressing when you come for one-on-one discussion also, or in the feedback that we write on the paper. So here the context, why it becomes important, because in whole GS portion there are 60 questions which come in the mains exam. Only 60 questions, barring ethics paper, only 60 questions will come. And while a question paper setter, or like the person who is putting the questions, like why he will go for some mundane things? Will he be interested? No, because like those questions, like that person has asked it for many a times, or like those questions have come in the examination many a times. So when you give a task to a person, that person will try to get connected with the current affairs. He wants to ask the most relevant and the most happening thing in the world. So he or she will go for those specific questions which are there in the current affairs. So it becomes very important to write the context of the question, especially for third paper, and even for that matter second paper, and partly in the first paper, you have to write the context. So if you write the context, the extra half marks that you will get, that will boost your score like anything, and the impression that you are leaving on the evaluator, that will be long lasting, at least for half an hour for which he is associated or engaged in your paper. So you'll have a different feeling, and overall incremental change in your marks can be. Then theoretical knowledge. So when it is appearing in the science and environment section, as I told earlier, so our mindset has to be like a high school student, and the theoretical aspect of this, the theory behind that process or that device or that phenomena, we have to explain theoretically. So if you write theoretically, for example, if they ask you about climate change, and if you write about the process, if you try to explain in terms of, like some diagram representation or the process or some flow chart, yes, that will gain marks here, because in third paper you can score like anything. So it depends upon scaling up and scaling down year by year. But what we have seen in last 7 years is like the marks in the third paper, usually they come above 100. So for the best candidate, we have seen the score up to 140, 150 also. So definitely 100 above score, or like scores above 100, they are more common in third paper. So be specific in such questions. So your theoretical approach, your definition, your context has to be like to the point, and you should be maximizing your score here. And as I told earlier, under each process or device or any phenomena or any application, please bring in the recent examples which have come in the newspapers or in any compilations or in any news that you have come across. So please try to include the recent examples and the illustration. Illustration, maybe it is with respect to a diagram, block diagram, or a flow chart, or maybe it is with respect to the map, or it is with respect to table, or some illustration, So if you bring that specific thing in the answer, so again, there are chances that your score will get an incremental change every, answer by answer. So these are the small tips, or these are the important things that I wanted to share with you. And lastly, like we will be telling the things to cover, or the important things. Yeah, we have around 18 days from now on. So here in this particular time crunch, as I told earlier, for science and technology, you should not be wasting more than a day. And for environment, you should not be wasting more than a day. So here, try to cover the articles on probable topics. So I'll be giving you the probable topics. So I'll be supplying you the what the PPT of this presentation, and you go through those topics. So here, please go through the articles that I have mentioned. So I have looked into the old question papers. I have sit with last 3 years current affairs, and I have used my discretion to pick up some of the topics for you. So please go through the articles. So they are covered in our Manifest website, Manifest IAS website. So this is our old website with respect to the current affairs, and the new website, Journals of India. Journals of India. So india.com. So please go through these articles and try to cover them as precise as possible. Don't spend too much time into that. Then the general applications of the advanced technologies. I have talked about few of the advanced technologies like 5G, IoT, cyber physical systems, virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. So many things are there. So please try to make few applications of those, at least 6 to 8 applications you try to enumerate. Then the policies. So recently, in last 5-6 years, we have come up with many policies. Maybe that is digital communication policy, or national supercomputing mission, or the policy associated with quantum computing, or the policy associated with artificial intelligence, or cyber physical systems. So please go through those policy details, and at least you should be mentioning those policy names. If you mention the policy names, so that will make your answer more specific, or the evaluator will come to know that you have gone through the government websites and you have studied up those things. Then the plans, missions, and schemes. So when you know like in detail about these plans, missions, and schemes, it will again make your answer very much unique from others, and it will be more oriented towards the government or generally the governance. So it has lot of weightage when you add them in the answers. Then finally glance on few of the annual reports, especially Environmental Ministry, then Electronics and Information Technology, and Ministry of Science and Technology. If you briefly glance over these ministry websites or the reports of those ministries superficially, not very much in depth, at least go through some of the boxes that are provided in the reports. So please go through them. So these things would help you from the angles of both science and environment, and for those 80 marks what we are trying to tackle, so these things will help. Next, I'll be giving you the probable topics for CSM 2020. So from basic science, so these are the topics. Anyways, I'll be giving you the PPT. Then medicine. So many things have piled up in medicine, especially in the medical sector. Many things have piled up, and these are covered from last 2 years. In last 2 years, whatever that has come up, so that I have tried to enumerate. Then from space, these are the new things or the important things or the very recent things I have tried to enumerate. Then biotechnology, as I discussed earlier, so these are the topics that we need to cover. Then in information communication technology, I have told like there are many topics because a lot of research is happening in India and across the world. So these are the topics that you need to thoroughly study. Then next one is environment. In environment, I have a lot of topics. Even if you stick your preparation to only these topics, there are around 24 topics here. So if you make sure that you have 150 words or 250 words in each of the topics, I think that would suffice. There are totally around 24 topics here. So I have enumerated them. So especially very important things in environment are the rules that have come up. So especially with respect to waste management, maybe it is solid waste management, plastic waste management, e-waste management, biomedical waste management, or hazardous and other waste management. There are many rules, and the recent amendments have come up in the recent times since 2016. So please try to study them. And as far as the international conventions or framework conventions or the treaties, like every year or like once in 2 years or 3 years, like depending upon the convention, like we come up with a lot of agenda, like that is like the collaborative agenda, and also many deliberations that happen across the globe. So especially there are 3 such conventions are there. One is convention with respect to climate change, that is UNFCCC. Then second one is biodiversity, convention on biodiversity. And the third thing is convention on desertification, combating desertification. These are the 3 things. And other important conventions or the protocols that we have, like Kyoto Protocol, we have Kigali Agreement, Montreal Protocol, then we have Paris Agreement, and similarly we have the conventions like Bonn Convention, we have Rotterdam Convention, so Basel Convention. So at least if you mention these things in the answers, so that will have a lot of weightage. And as far as the meetings or the conferences in 2020 are concerned, they have been done virtually, most of them done virtually, and nothing significant has happened as far as the conferences or the meetings are concerned. So don't worry about those things, but whatever that has happened up to 2019, so that becomes very important, especially the things like Paris Agreement and the Kigali Agreement. So please look into those things. And when it comes to the Indian law, especially the Environment Protection Act or the acts like Biodiversity Act or Wildlife Protection Act, Water Act, Air Act. Then there are many acts associated with environmental protection. So please go through those acts also. And when it comes to forests, yes, we have evolution of forest laws in India since British time. So maybe it is with respect to Forest Act, or maybe it is with respect to the forest dwellers, or maybe it is with respect to the national policies that we have for forests. So there are many laws and many policies as far as the Indian forests are concerned. Please go through all of them. So this is the general approach for the science and technology and the environmental part. So I wish you all the best for these particular sections, and if you have any kind of doubt, please do reach us physically or over phone or over message. So as far as possible, to any extent, we'll try to help you, and the final objective is to get the interview call after the Civil Services Mains Examination 2020. So on behalf of Manifest IAS, I wish you all the best and wish you good luck. Thank you.